Howdy, stargazers, and welcome to this episode of Star Trails. My name is Drew, and I'll be your guide to the night sky for the week of May the 31st to June the 6th. There are some episodes that end when you publish them, and there are others that linger. Over the last 113 episodes of Star Trails, we've talked about black holes, dying stars, distant galaxies, radio telescopes, ancient astronomers, and worlds beyond our reach. But every now and then, I find myself thinking back to a much quieter episode. A year and a half ago, I packed a recorder, drove out into the dark countryside, and spent an evening at a star party with members of the Midlands Astronomy Club. At the time, I thought I was just gathering tape for an episode, but listening back now, I realize I captured something else. Not just telescopes and astronomy talk, but the feeling of amateur astronomy itself. The folding chairs, the red flashlights, old telescope cases covered in dew, the conversations that drift between Saturn, weather forecasts, guitars, and stories about department store telescopes from 1985. In a hobby increasingly dominated by apps, automation, and glowing screens, there's something timeless about a group of people gathering under a dark sky simply to look up together. So this week, while I take a short break, I wanted to revisit one of my favorite episodes from the archive, remastered a bit with newly recorded narration, but otherwise preserved exactly as it was. This is from Star Trails episode 41, Star Party Stories. And be sure to stick around after the segment for a quick look at this week's night sky. So settle in and let's head back out under the stars. Being at a star party is like stepping into a shared dream, a mix of curiosity, excitement, and a touch of nostalgia. Tonight, the Midlands Astronomy Club converges at one of their secluded observation sites. The twice-yearly gathering is a chance for family, friends, and those curious about the hobby. After an hour's drive northward with daylight waning, I arrived at the club's dark sky sanctuary, just in time to join the familiar faces that bring these nights to life. Seasoned observers, club veterans, and newcomers. Telescopes of all kinds already point skyward, waiting for nightfall. Skies are clear for now, but a front is forecasted to arrive this evening, and that could bring clouds or even rain. The real star of the event is the food, and we'll enjoy the cookout even if observation is impossible. Club President Mike Roberts, who normally plans the club's monthly meetings and topics, has one of the most important roles of the night, manning the grill.
Ever since I was a kid, I've always looked at the sky. And that's true of most of us. Most of us have been doing this for our entire life. And I just like getting out there and looking at the sky.
But it's not just about looking at the stars. It's about sharing that fascination, connecting with others who feel the same pull of the cosmos. Hap Griffin was one of the original members to build an observatory on the site some years ago.
It's a chance for people like us that are just enamored by the night sky and getting together with people that are interested in the same things that you are under a really magnificent night sky is just the best.
Between Hap's observatory and his neighbor, Frank's, an impromptu gathering place is formed. Astronomers huddle together, guitars in hand, sharing melodies and stories beneath the darkening sky. Most of these club members have known each other for years. I'm a relative newcomer, but before I knew it, someone handed me a guitar and invited me to join in over the murmur of cosmic chatter.
The plow was a big deal because they hadn't really discovered how to do agriculture yet. You know what I mean? So Yeah, that was important to them. So
That's
they knew
Omega
that they could
Centaurus.
That was my
balance
next
those.
guess because they had that color,
Yeah,
that dim copper color around it.
Great.
but that's with a homemade telescope.
Wow.
I figured that, ground figured it, polished it and figured it. And that's the scope that I built. It's carbon fiber tube,
Wow.
F3.9.
That's beautiful.
As you can guess, it doesn't take long before the talk turns to telescopes.
Well, I joined the club when I was 13 or 14 years old. I've been in astronomy since 1985 as a first grader.
That's
When I first
past
got into
club
astronomy,
president Wes Munn.
seriously, I started with a department store telescope from the old service merchandise. You probably remember this in the 80s. It showed me the craters of the moon, and I thought only PhD scientists could see that, but that was my ticket. And that telescope, looking back, is far inferior to what I own now. But I treated that thing like it was my own Lowell Observatory or Mauna Kea Observatory. I just felt like I just discovered the moon myself.
For many, telescopes are more than tools. They're extensions of a passion for the stars, each scope reflecting its owner's unique story.
Okay. So the light will enter here, gets corrected, color corrected and aberration corrected, bounces off the primary mirror, back toward a mirror mounted in the center of this corrective lens.
Amateur astronomer Steve Dornberg takes pride in using what would be deemed a vintage scope nowadays. His blue, gray, and gold Dynamax scope looked futuristic in the early 80s, but has since graduated to retro cool status, judging by how many gawkers he gets when he sets it up.
Well, assuming I can keep my optics from fogging up, I'll get my 8-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain made by Dynamax, which is no longer in production, out here, and we'll take a look at some stars.
And this is a Creston?
This is a Dyna. It's a competitor to Celestron. Okay, it's called Dynamax, and it's no longer in business. But the same.
In an era when most astronomers are using some sort of computer-assisted guiding or a smart scope, Steve relies on methods more in line with the age of his scope, which still renders beautiful views of planets and deep sky objects.
Absolutely. The optics, I've taken meticulous care of the telescope in the years that I've had it, and it's all about the optics at the end of the day. I don't have a lot of the gee-whiz computer technology because it simply didn't exist when I bought the telescope. But it can track. I does have a drive motor on it. It can track if I align it properly. And other than that, I have a Tyrion Epoch 2000 star chart in here that I can look things up. It is not totally current. Some of the stars may have drifted a bit in 24 years, but they should be relatively close. So my right ascension and declination may be a bit off, but hey.
Across the field, a crowd has lined up to view the setting sun through a solar scope.
Look, close one eye, look at the other. There you go.
Good to
Do you see the big white ball?
Yeah.
Okay, that big white ball is the sun.
Oh,
Do you see black spots on it?
yeah, I do.
Those are sunspots, and they are bigger.
Guests quickly learn that if a scope is pointed at the sky, chances are they'll be invited to peer into it.
When you come to a star party, there's going to be generally a number of different types of telescopes to look through. If you're trying to get an idea for a telescope that you might want to buy, if you're a beginner, it's great to look through a lot of different types of telescopes because there'll be a half a dozen different types of scopes here, and you can see what the pluses and minuses are of each and things like that. So a star party is a great chance to actually kick the tires, so to speak, on other people's equipment, and they're happy for you to look through it, or they wouldn't have brought it.
Oh, we got bands. All right, repeat the view. Is that better?
Oh my God. Yes, you need to see that.
Yeah. Don't touch anything.
For Paul Romanizin, who's been the club's observation chairman for 20 years, education is at the core of the club's mission.
Well, one of the things is if you have a telescope for long enough, you need motivation to take it out. So the reason to take it out is to show people stuff.
Do you see the ring?
Yeah, it looks like a little. It looks like what you.
Did you see the bands on the ring and on the thing? Did you see the little dots on either side?
Do you see the moons? Those are the moons, right?
Well, we do programs for schools. We got an outreaches coming up, 2 more. We try to do them on around the first quarter moon, so there's something that's got nice visuals.
clouds that were threatening earlier have officially rolled in, covering up the handful of twilight targets that were being studied. But no one is singing the blues.
Some of our best star parties have been where it did cloud up and we just all sat around and talked. I remember one, we were supposed to watch a meteor shower, I think, and a bunch of us got together and it was cloudy. We didn't see a single meteor, but we sat around and talked, and I thought, here are people that know what I'm talking about, and I know what they're talking about. You know, when I mention some big technical term or some concept, the fact that they understand what I'm talking about and that they're talking about the same things that I'm talking about, it was enlightening. It was like, hey, bing, you know, the light went off. You know, I've got to be a part of this forever.
Drizzle has begun, and several of us hastily toss our gear into cars and prepare for the long ride home. For most newcomers, the experience has been worth it.
I saw Saturn, and I saw the moon right next to Saturn. I am very surprised to see in these telescopes how you're able to see a different side of Saturn. And I also enjoy the solar telescope. That was very surprising. I actually didn't expect to see a spot on the sun.
I saw the moon and I saw the sun earlier. I saw Saturn pretty close. It was pretty unique.
The sky, to these stargazers, is a canvas that stretches into infinity. It's alive with stories that reveal new wonders. Every time they look, they see something new, a brightening star, a comet, or simply the vastness of space itself.
The sky is not painted on. It actually has depth and meaning. So if you look at the sky through a telescope or a pair of binoculars, and then you increase the magnification on it, you're going to see farther out. You're always going to be able to see more. And there's stuff happening out there all the time, and stars are getting brighter, and they're getting darker, and they're moving, and they're doing all kinds of things. And so there's the sky is really a never-ending source of like fascination. There's a lot of stuff going on out there.
Here, it's rarely just about what you see. It's the moments of shared wonder and the camaraderie that binds them together, under a sky that feels a little less vast when shared with others.
I got one. You do? Yeah. You back on. Gonna be really nice.
I hope you enjoyed that report from the field, and special thanks go to all the folks who agreed to be interviewed. You can learn more about the club at their website, midlandsastronomyclub.com. As we close out May and prepare to head into June, the night sky is offering up some beautiful late spring observing opportunities, especially if you can get away from city lights for a while. Tonight is a rare blue moon, the second full moon of the month. Despite the name, the moon won't actually appear blue, but it's still a fun calendrical oddity that only happens every couple of years. This particular blue moon is also what astronomers call a micro-moon, meaning the moon is slightly farther from Earth in its orbit and may appear just a little smaller than usual. Even with the growing moonlight, there's still plenty to see. Look toward the western sky shortly after sunset and you'll spot brilliant Venus shining like an aircraft landing light in the twilight. Jupiter is nearby as well, and the two brightest planets in our sky are slowly drawing closer together for a spectacular conjunction coming up in early June. Mercury is also beginning to creep into the evening sky very low on the horizon, though it may require binoculars and a very clear western view to catch it. If you're willing to get up before dawn, Saturn and Mars are making their return to the morning sky. Saturn rises first in the east before sunrise, with reddish Mars hanging nearby lower on the horizon. Telescopically, Saturn is still sitting fairly low for northern observers, so the atmosphere may make it shimmer a bit, but the rings are unmistakable. Late spring also marks the return of the Milky Way to the evening sky. By midnight, the bright core of our galaxy begins lifting itself above the southeastern horizon, especially visible from darker rural locations. This is one of my favorite times of the year because the sky begins transitioning away from the sparse constellations of winter and into the richer star fields of summer. Now, let's turn our attention toward the constellations Boötes and Hercules, now climbing high in the eastern sky during the evening hours. Boötes is anchored by brilliant orange Arcturus, one of the brightest stars in the entire night sky, and a reliable beacon this time of year. Nearby is the constellation Hercules, home to one of the finest globular clusters visible in the northern hemisphere, Messier 13. Under dark skies, M13 appears as a faint, fuzzy patch between the stars of Hercules. Through binoculars, it begins to resolve into a grainy ball of light, and through even a small telescope, it explodes into hundreds of ancient stars packed tightly together, a swarm containing perhaps several 100,000 suns orbiting the outskirts of our galaxy. The light you're seeing from that cluster tonight began its journey toward Earth around the time humans were first developing agriculture. That's going to do it for this week. If tonight's episode sparked your curiosity or maybe gave you something new to think about the next time you look up, I'd be honored if you shared Star Trails with someone who might enjoy the journey. You can always find the latest episodes, show notes, and extras at startrails.show. And if you'd like to help support the show, there's also a little Buy Me a Coffee link on the site. It genuinely helps keep these stories coming. Be sure to follow Star Trails on Blue Sky and YouTube. Links are in the show notes. Until we meet again beneath the stars, clear skies, everyone.